Welcome, everyone, to another special edition of Couch Potato Diary as we get into another mock draft. My name is Peter Klein. Thank you very much for watching here on YouTube or for downloading and listening in podcast form on Couch Potato Diary. So, this is the second in our mock draft series. At first, we did the number 1 overall pick, so we're going to continue on today, 12-point half PPR, and we're just going to see. Now, in our first effort, we went with the 0 RB strategy and ended up really liking the depth we had at running back and not so much wide receiver. Today, I don't think we're going to be presented with that option. And so we'll see how the other half lives with our second overall pick. We are going to go with the sleeper app, I guess, one more time for this. So we are going to start draft. Are you sure? Yes, I'm 100% sure. All right, Justin Jefferson goes at the 1.1. So we are on the clock here. We could continue with our 0 RB strategy with going with Jamar Chase, but I think for the purposes of these exercises, I want to see how things turn out when we go running back here early with Christian McCaffrey. So McCaffrey is going to be our pick. Right away, Eckler and Chase come off the board. Travis Kelce, the first tight end, is off of there as well. Looping back around, no quarterbacks in the first round just yet. CeeDee Lamb going. Well, we're getting into the depths of wide receiver here already. There, Patrick Mahomes finally goes. Was wondering if he might be able to make it around to us. So now we are up. And we went with Josh Allen last time. I don't know if we're going to go Josh Allen again here. Tony Pollard I don't love in this spot. So, man, it might be a bit of a reach here. Because I do like Ramondre. You know what? We've already committed to going with running backs here. Let's go running back. Hurts comes off the board. Then it's Andrews. What are we looking at quarterbacks? Because right now it's only been Mahomes and Hurts off the board. There's still a few good options out there at quarterbacks. I think we'll leave that alone. At wide receiver, we've already got into wide receiver 2 categories here. So I don't love that. We are already set at running back, so we probably don't need to go that route one more time. I think we are going to go wide receiver here. I have always been a big Deebo Samuel fan. Maybe I'm going to try to wait on Deebo and just play the ADP game. Although, when you're picking this early, like we don't pick again here until the back part of the 4th round, Deebo's not going to be there. So if you like a player, I always say, like, there's, unless it's like a few rounds, I don't think there's any such thing as a reach, especially when you have a while to go between picks. So I'm going to go Deebo Samuel here and hope for a bounce back this season. And I wonder if playing the waiting game helps us out at tight end and quarterback. I wouldn't mind establishing ourselves there. So we have I don't want to say a run. 2 quarterbacks come off of the board with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Another tight end comes off. But just a lot of wide receivers and running backs, man. Another quarterback in Justin Fields. So now I'm starting to feel it a little bit at quarterback because I do feel like there is a tier break coming up. And so because of that, right now, just to recap, we have Christian McCaffrey, Ramondre Stevenson, and Deebo Samuel on our teams. The quarterbacks that are left, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, and Tua Tagovailoa. And then after that, it really falls off. I think there is a gap between Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Some others may not, but I think that Herbert now with Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator for the LA Chargers, I think he is going to really open up this offense here. So I am fine now going quarterback and having that position kind of established for us here. After that, team 1 went McLaurin and DeAndre Hopkins. So they, much like we did, they have gone full 0 RB. They have gone Jefferson, McLaurin, and Hopkins with their first picks there. So now we are back on the clock. Again, we're pretty good at running back with McCaffrey and Stevenson. We have Deebo Samuel at wide receiver. Available at wide receiver now, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Drake London, Christian Watson, Chris Godwin, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Williams. Those are the names that are available right now. And so because of that, I'm feeling it a little bit at wide receiver. I want to get my wide receiver room pretty well established. So we are going to go here with DJ Moore and hope for the best. My hope now is that when we pick again at 6'11", that we are going to have, hopefully Darren Waller is going to be available to us. He wasn't last time, and we ended up getting Dallas Goedert, and that worked out okay. But I don't want to be left hanging the bag, so holding the bag at tight end. So Goddard has gone. Kittle also went in between our picks here. Well, Sleeper's kind of lagging on me a little bit today. Don't go. We're one pick away from getting this one. One pick away from this working. Team 3 is making us sweat here. This should be auto. I wonder why this is happening. But this is interesting. Say Waller comes off of the board right now. Then we talked about Javonte Williams in this spot last time. We certainly don't mind Javonte Williams. There's also Rashad White and Isaiah Pacheco along with David Montgomery. At wide receiver, Mike Evans is there. Deontay Johnson, JSN, George Pickens. So we're getting into a bit more of the depth categories. That's why I would really like Waller. I feel like is kind of the last sort of difference maker out on the board. Since our last pick, only one quarterback has come off. That's Trevor Lawrence. So if we didn't get Herbert or Lawrence in those kind of spots, this is absolutely where we would be waiting on a quarterback. But it's interesting that Team 3 has kind of taken their time. We're going to be with Team 3 tomorrow, coming out of the 3 spot. So again, it is a half-point PPR. Our team right now, we went McCaffrey with the 2nd overall pick, then Ramondre Stevenson. We then went Deebo Samuel, Justin Herbert, and DJ Moore. So balance-wise, we're set up pretty good. I think we have a deep team right now. It's just a matter of where we go next. So if there is no Waller in this spot, I don't think I'm going to reach on Evan Ingram. If there is a selection here of Darren Waller, we're probably going to go Javonte Williams in this spot. So we'll see what Team 3 does. But this is always... This is, like, I don't love how this particular thing is set up. I wish that I could have put my rankings in. And I'm sure that there is a way to do it. But normally, I don't really look at ADP. I just have my own rankings set up. And I'm just like, okay, like, I'm not next person off the board because there obviously has to be a thing. Oh, I'm on auto now. So I wonder if that was a freeze on my end. So that's disappointing. That because we lose Waller there in that spot. So that really sucks. Pitts went... And then it auto-drafted for us Dalvin Cook. So there must have been a bit of a lag on my end, and that's what the holdup was there. So that is quite interesting and quite frustrating that happened. But you're always going to have to deal with some technical issues. A little bit of mayhem has been thrown into the mix here. So we, out of that, ended up getting Dalvin Cook and Mike Evans, which, if you were listening, are neither of the players that I said that we should go after. So let's take a look at what's available at tight end here. We have 1:45 to go. Evan Ingram and then Freiermuth, and David Njoku, Dalton Schultz, Dalton Kincaid, Okonwo with Tennessee along with Cole Kmet. So I think there is a substantial fall off here between these two. Maybe I will leave Ingram there for now, although it does seem like these two are probably going to be the next two that could come off of the board, and that would be very disappointing. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to go Evan Ingram. We're going to get our starting tight end, and now we are filling out the depth of this roster. Let's take a look at what's available at running back. Jamal Williams is there along with Khalil Herbert. We have talked before about how much we like Khalil Herbert's talent, as well as Samaje Perine is there at wide receiver. It's Gabe Davis, Michael Thomas, Zay Flowers, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Cortland Sutton. So again, I think there's a little bit more at running back than there is a wide receiver left on the board right now. So I'm going to take a bit of a gamble on a rookie wide receiver, and we're going to go Zay Flowers in this spot. Khalil Herbert goes right after. That's a bit disappointing. We were maybe hoping that could make it around. Obviously, it wasn't going to, as we're 20-some-odd picks away from that not necessarily happen. Also, you can see in the background there's a fan behind me. I'm trying to stay hydrated as well. I'm not even trying to hide it. It's like 35 degrees in Calgary today. So there, you all just got to listen to me and watch me drink something. Okay, so it has come back around to us, and it's not looking great. We are in the 10th round here. We have all of our starting spots filled, and our flex positions, I guess, filled as well. So we are all just about filling out depth. Because we went Herbert, we're probably not going to draft a backup quarterback unless it is like right before we went kicker and defense here. So we have a couple more positions before we go with that. Running backs available at this point: Elijah Mitchell, Tyler Algier, Kundre Miller, Raheem Mostert, Devin Singletary, and Donta Foreman, along with Tank Bigsby as well. And then at receiver, it's Odell Beckham Jr., Alan Lazard, Adam Thielen, Sky Moore, and Jacoby Myers. I'm going to go, we went this way last time, I'm going to go with the potential home run swing here, and I'm going to go with Sky Moore. So once again, something we are noticing, we have Dalvin Cook here to kind of fill out a bit of the depth that could help us out at running back. I would like to add a couple more depth pieces, but we saw this last time we did this draft, where we're finding, at least I'm finding myself liking what's available a little bit more at the wide receiver portion of this here in this draft. So that's why I've recommended going 0 RB. So what's left? I do feel like we need one more running back here. So I'm going to go Raheem Mostert. It's a difficult running back or backfield right now in Miami, but maybe Mostert breaks away from that. Oh, apparently we've just clicked on his profile. Well, there he is. Handsome fellow out of Purdue. There we go. So we're picking Mostert. Geno Smith goes right after. If you are going with a couple of quarterbacks, like say you were team 6 here, and you went Tua in the 8th round, if you wanted to follow that back up with a Geno Smith pick to help you out with some depth, I don't mind that at all. Other players of note that have kind of gone off of the board now, we're seeing some of the later round tight ends and later round quarterbacks going. Bryce Young from Carolina goes here in the 12th round. So now it has come back around to us here in the 12th round. Players that are available, Dante Foreman is still there. Ezekiel Elliott, Jonathan Mingo, Romeo Doubs, and Rondale Moore. Those are some of the players that are available, just ranking it by ADP right now. What we might do, I'm going to take another home run swing here. I'm going to go Nico Collins in this spot. I think he could be a potential breakout candidate as a wide receiver. 49ers defense comes off of the board as Team 1 goes with that a little bit early. That's an interesting call. If we're looking for backup quarterbacks, I mean, Kyler Murray is there. That's an interesting move if you wanted to... Like, if we feel good about where we're at depth-wise at running back and wide receiver, taking a last-second Hail Mary on a Kyler Murray maybe isn't the worst idea. Jaylen Warren is there at running back. We do still only have... Well, this is saying we only have 3 running backs because we have one of our running backs in our flex spot. We have 6 wide receivers taken. So I feel like we're probably good at wide receiver. I'm going to just take the shot with Ezekiel Elliott and just see. He probably doesn't end up being at 13-2, but we have the Patriots backfield locked down, and if there's one thing that has helped fantasy football teams in the past, it is getting as much investment in the New England Patriots running backfield as you possibly can. So this is a spot here on the turn where we're missing out on some of the top defenses and kickers. If you wanted to go a round early on kicker and defense, I'm starting to not hate that strategy, seeing where we are ending up here. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks defense. I think they've invested in this defense, and it's a defense that has a relatively easy schedule. So we're going to go Seattle there, and then it's going to loop around back to us. I was actually thinking of doing this strategy that Team 1 just did here. They go defense with their pick in the 13th round, kicker in 14, and then with their last overall pick, they snag Kyler Murray. So their quarterback situation right now is Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray. That is absolutely someone that you can flip. If something happens to Jalen Hurts, then you can give her a whirl with Kyler Murray. But that is a really good job there with Team 1. We have to go kicker in this spot. We will just take Brandon McManus because he can kick the hell out of a football. And that is our draft. So coming away from this one, once again, we're seeing the middle rounds dominated by wide receivers. But even with going, with 2 running backs back-to-back instead of our 0 RB strategy, we still come away with 2 pretty good wide receivers at the 3rd round in Samuel, in the 5th round with DJ Moore. We have a good quarterback in Herbert, and we have an all-right tight end in Evan Ingram. So overall, I come away from this pretty happy with how this draft turned out for us. So what this is showing is that there are multiple ways to do this. I went 0 RB in with pick number 1, and I was very happy with the team that came about. This one focused a little bit more on depth, and overall we come away, I think, with a couple, again, real lottery ticket type players on our bench, and a couple bench players that could help us out depth-wise down the road. So that's what you can expect from the number 2 overall pick in this year's fantasy football drafts. We are going to be doing this from all 12 positions of the fantasy football draft this year, with number 3 coming up tomorrow. If you like this, I have a podcast, Couch Potato Diary. It comes out 3 times a week, although leading up to football season, it's going to be 5 times a week. And you can find that wherever you get your fine podcasts. If you're listening to this and you wanted to see the video portion of it, you can find us on YouTube. Just search Couch Potato Diary. That's probably the best way to go about doing that. So thank you all so much. You can email my show, couchpotatodiary@yahoo.com, and I will talk to you all later.